So, you can go to hell. Mr. Obama, you can go to hell.
Filipino President Rodrigo Duterte is controversial. He cusses out heads of state. He recently compared himself to Hitler in a positive way. His war on drugs has resulted in thousands of civilian deaths. But most shocking of all is the massive shift in Filipino foreign policy. The Philippines, one of the oldest Eastern partners with the United States, is drifting away. Since the Mutual Defense Treaty of 1951, the Philippines has hosted military exercises and operated bases with the US. Throughout the last several decades, the Philippines has served as a major staging area for military forces. At its peak, the US military stationed around 25,000 personnel in the Philippines. But the Philippines isn't a rich or particularly large nation compared to other US allies. The United States doesn't get oil from the Philippines, nor is it a major trading partner. The Philippines isn't an ally. It is a proxy. The United States leverages diplomatic and economic incentives to push the Philippines to extend the US sphere of influence far into the Pacific. At times, the Philippines was an extension of the United States' will. One of Obama's big foreign policy changes from the Bush administration was the so-called pivot towards Asia. After conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan, the United States turned its gaze toward the strategic rebalancing of power in the Pacific. The growing military and economic might of China, coupled with the wilting of Japanese dominance in the region, meant that the United States needed to bolster diplomatic efforts in an effort to counter Chinese expansion. The United States, too, has begun active diplomacy and economic statecraft to prop up their regional allies in order to balance the scales. Duterte threatens this fragile balance. Duterte has just concluded an important state visit to China, where he signed a massive $24 billion investment and financing deal. There, he announced his major foreign policy shift.
I announce my separation from the United States. America has lost me. And will I realign myself in your ideological flow, and maybe I will also go to Russia to talk to Putin and tell him that there are three of us against the world: China, Philippines, and Russia.
If the Philippines aligns itself with China, the delicate diplomatic actions undertaken by the Obama administration to counter Chinese influence will have failed. Analysts seemed alarmed by the rapid reversal in Philippines' foreign policy, but the truth of the matter is that this course was set almost 100 years ago. In a press conference, Duterte held up black and white photographs. In the photos were the Moro people, a Filipino Muslim ethnic group. Also in the pictures, American soldiers posing with Moro bodies and dumping them into mass graves.
For as long as we stay with America, we will never have peace in that time. We might as well give it up.
Duterte grew up under US colonial rule in a community that still remembers the massacre of Moros. He scoffs when Washington criticizes him on human rights abuses.
Nobody has the right to lecture on me. I am a president of a sovereign state, and we have long ceased to be a colony. I do not have any master except the Filipino people. Nobody but nobody.
And now his long-standing resentment towards the United States is actively crippling their relations. China could have control over shipping lanes, fishing areas, and underwater oil reserves, resources that would further lead to China's dominance. The United States is losing Duterte, and if they lose Duterte, then they lose the Philippines, and then perhaps the Pacific.